Yeah, we don't have Darnell's. I need Darnell's. We need... That's up to you? Alright, so then you just gotta announce them then.
I wanna taste the pain. I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot to the head. I need a blank space. Cause everything is a threat. But I never back down, man, I'd rather be dead. I'm making love to fame. And she look better in bed. And I'ma rock this life till I take my last breath. I wanna make a change. I got 1 life left. So I'm gonna go down swinging, don't you forget. Everything is so boring. Can't get up in the morning. I'm so sick of the mundane and routine. I'm gonna break without warning. I wanna taste the pain. I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot to the head. I need a blank space. Cause everything is a threat. But I never back down, man, I'd rather be dead. I'm making love to fame. And she look better in bed. And I'ma rock this life till I take my last breath. I wanna make a change. I got 1 life left. So I'm gonna go down swinging, don't you forget. I've gotta find a new purpose. Something actually worth it. I wanna look in the mirror and like what I see. I'm sick of feeling so worthless. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. I just need a win. I'm going off, I know it's time to make a change. And I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. I just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning. I can make a change. I wanna play the game. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. I just need a win. I'm going off, I know it's time to make a change. And I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. I just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning. I can make a change. I wanna play the game, yeah.
Welcome to ArchRivals Football Season 4. Sponsored by Raz Energy, Steiner Sports, and Super Draft Pro. Here is your starting lineup for Season 4. Number 20, Darnell, the Playmaker, Sallins. Number 96, Alex, the Bearman, Kazzaz. And number 69, Ricky, the Master of Mayhem, Litwinkowich. Kickoff is starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody. It is Saturday, September done. October 1st is here. And it is ArchRivals Football Season 4. We have a tremendously, and I mean tremendously, loaded show going on for everybody today. But our starting lineup is 1 short. So we're just going to go down south to that lovely, large state of Texas. It is the Bearman, Mr. Alex Kazzaz. Alex, how you doing?
I am doing good, and I got a feeling that today's episode's going to be, well, quite unique. But we always go unique, but today we're going to take that unique to a level that's probably we've never been before. And that is not a bad thing, Mr. Ricky.
Well, we have, again, like I said, it is a loaded show. I'm still sharing the show out. If you are currently watching, whether you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, share it out. Let's get some people in here The stars are active. You can send stars there. You can contribute to the PayPal. Link is in the description of this video. We have sponsors, NFL.com, Fanatics, Points.com. We have other sponsors if you wish to contribute to those. Message yours truly. I will get you links. Right now, Fanatics.com is working up to 65% off site-wide throughout the rest of this weekend. If you want to purchase any NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, NCAA, soccer, golf, WWE, you name it, it's all there. Before we get to our newest sponsor of the show, we're going to get into a little bit of the Tua news. And
oh boy.
I'm going to let Alex kind of start off with it. I know the Tua news has been a very large topic that has been killing social media. Like, I thought Coolio dying on Wednesday was big social media, but apparently not. The Tua Tagovailoa news of the concussion, which everybody is now assuming is the second one within 4 days. Obviously, I'm going to let Alex kick it off with that.
I mean, it's pretty clear that he did have to suffer some kind of concussion. We saw how his head hit the damn ground, damn it. Ricky, I cannot stress enough the fact that Tua should not even have been on the damn field. Quite frankly, I really don't think he should have traveled with the team, to be honest. Okay? Now, there's a specific someone that you and I are quite familiar with, considering that we are both lifelong fans of professional wrestling. Unfortunately, this particular fella, his career came up short because of concussion issues. That would be Dr. Chris Nowinski, who, of course, founded the Concussion Foundation that apparently, is very good, very influential. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ricky, but he did actually. I don't know if you saw the tweet, but he did actually make a prediction before the game that something can go bad, and it did go bad, and he said it. But of course, what was important is he took no pleasure, nor did he take any pride in having this particular prediction come true, because quite frankly, that was what he was afraid of. Quite frankly, I think that's what we were all afraid of.
Well, on our Tuesday show, when we were going to pick this game, you and I both agreed. Now, again, we picked the Dolphins on Tuesday night. We're going to get into that recap in a few minutes.
Yes, we did.
But I will say this, though. We both said it on Tuesday's show that if Tua does end up getting injured again, okay? If he ends up getting injured again, the Dolphins are finished. We both said that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we were playing Nostradamus on this and saying that this was going to end up happening. But we also...
It was basically a realistic judgment call.
Exactly. In layman's terms, okay, now, again, both of us have dealt with concussion stuff over the course of time, and we know exactly what the side effects can be, and they're not always immediate either. They can sometimes take a day or two, or 3 or 4, for any type of everlasting or outgoing effects that happen afterward. It's everything like post-syndrome or post-action where this ends up happening. So, knowing this fact that Tua had what everybody is saying is a concussion. We're all not doctors or whatever, but we all know what symptoms of concussions are.
We saw how his head was hit the ground, and a good friend of mine who's a nurse, we noticed how Tua's fingers, how they were crossed and like that. That's basically a seizure, according to my friend who's a nurse.
All right.
So he was basically suffering a seizure. But I gotta finish with Dr. Chris Nowinski. Now the tweet was deleted, but he did tell the Dolphins. I mean, we saw that tweet that said you guys should be in jail, and that if something happens to Tua in the future, he threatened to press murder charges against the Miami Dolphins organization. Now, the tweet has been deleted, and look, I did screenshot it and share it, not because I want to upstage Dr. Chris Nowinski. It has nothing to do with publicity. It's to actually spread the fact that I'm pissed off, too. Maybe not as pissed as him, but I'm upset, too. But look, I'm not a concussion expert, but this would be specifically common sense, but there's one very disturbing fact that Dr. Chris Nowinski confirmed, and we thought at first, I thought it was a second concussion in the span of 5 days, but it kind of seems like it was probably about 4, but the bottom line is still 2 concussions, whether it's 4 days or 5 days. Do you know what that can lead to, Ricky?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It can kill you.
But
it can kill you.
Here's the mega deal out of all of this, okay? Now, obviously, the investigation is still going on from Sunday. Okay?
This investigation better be lengthy. I'm telling you this right now.
Here is the problem. And this is, again, like, I've been following the entire situation since Thursday night. Okay? And I want everybody in football land to understand something. Okay? Now, the NFL and the medical teams do have a protocol for what they do. Okay? They do have a protocol. We're not going to bullshit anybody that there's not any set standards of how everything really is going with the NFL. All right? So let's kind of put this. All right? They were listed as certain circumstances for medical people to look at when doing the protocol. Now, as of, again, a video that I shared with Alex, we both watched it. I think I've watched it 3 times. And this is discussions about that there are gray areas within the protocol situation. Okay? Welcome to Anthony Richard. 100% a seizure is no concussion. Causes fingers to seize. Concussions will throw your gait off. Listen, I've done plenty of research on it before we've even come into the show. Okay?
See, you mentioned the seizure. That's what my good friend and my mentor, Mr. Steve Adams, who's a nurse, basically. So, yeah, so there's that confirmed that it was apparently a seizure.
No, it was not.
No,
it was not. Because in the conversation with Chris Nowinski, plus the video that we watched from NFL with the insiders, Pelissero and everybody else, okay? Concussions need time to breathe, okay? A player may not show symptoms of a concussion, but the brain cells or the red blood cells in the brain need time to regenerate and heal. This is the problem. Because, yes, even though the doctors did cover the protocol, okay? They did cover the protocol, but did not side with caution by viewing the initial event to begin with. Being wobbly the way he was on Sunday versus Buffalo should have been the telltale sign of saying, guess what? We don't see signs of this concussion. However, medical should have said that the concussion syndrome cannot fully appear, and him being wobbly is already a telltale sign. It is not from a back injury. Usually, if you're that wobbly, your brain is not stabilized.
Your equilibrium is damaged, damn it.
Correct. Which means you have brain cells or red blood cells that are damaged and need time to recuperate. So the doctor, even though following the protocol, should have still suggested to Mike McDaniels on Sunday, hey, let's sit him out. It's at the end of the half. We're doing whatever it is that we can to cover the whole ability of making sure this player's safety is better. Instead of just saying, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we cleared him. He can go back and play. Minka Fitzpatrick on the same calendar day, got kicked in the head on Sunday. It was actually shown, again, I have to give credit to most of the things that I'm going to be talking about on this, okay? On the Pat McAfee show on Monday, they showed Fitzpatrick getting kicked in the head on Sunday. He woke up Tuesday and he could not follow through with his daily routine. 48 hours after the event of him getting kicked in the head and being put in concussion protocol. So now tell me, yes, both of them suffered a concussion. I'm going to say it. I'm no doctor, but if the guy is wobbly getting up, his brains are not right. That's a concussion.
Yeah.
Okay?
So it was no seizure, but the fingers crossing was still neurological damage.
A seizure works differently within the nervous system of the body.
Okay.
Okay? If he was having a seizure, he'd be shaking like a fish out of water. That's what a seizure does.
Because that's what my friend mentor actually fully confirmed, that it was there. It was definitely a hit in the neurological because it was the back of the head. He basically said, Steve said, a seizure. He was definitely showing a bit of a sign that it could have been a seizure, but it didn't. It just did not follow through. But what Steve confirmed is that it was bad, and again, he shouldn't even been playing.
But
he's a gifted nurse.
I'll put it to you this way, though. Okay, the NFL in themselves not only being shitbags for what they did on Thursday night. Okay, and I'm not talking about the way that they handled the Tua situation. What I'm really angry about the NFL is that the protocol needs to be adjusted. Because even though a person clears a concussion protocol, they should still be put on like a do not go list.
Oh, Mr. Anthony Richard in the chat actually says, and I quote, 100% a seizure, no concussion causes fingers to seize. Concussions will throw your gait off and stand as such, end quote.
Yes.
Okay.
However,
the
problem with the concussion is that he did not have enough recovery time after concussion number 1. Yes, football is a violent sport. Do not get me wrong. But concussions can have after effects for a few days, a week, sometimes up to a month. Okay? I've known guys that have gotten concussions and were out of commission for 6 weeks.
I mean, Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins missed a long time because remember when he suffered a concussion, he was out a long time because of concussion. He was suffering from concussion-like symptoms.
But see, this is where the protocols have to change.
Yeah.
Because, granted, the Dolphins played on Thursday Night Football. Okay? Eric Lindros was out for almost an entire season after he got his concussion. And he got multiple concussions. Okay? He had multiple concussions. That's what ended his career.
Okay.
So, again, 4 days is not enough time to recover from whatever happened to him on Sunday.
Yeah.
4 days is not enough time, okay? As for the play in itself, the play was deemed clean because there was no intent of driving him into the ground.
Yeah, it was just basically a football tackle, which basically, as you said, it shows just how dangerous the sport is.
But again, if he wasn't concussed on Sunday, okay? If he wasn't concussed on Sunday, and that happened to him on Thursday, it's still the point being is that there is a problem there.
Yeah. And listen, I need to apologize to everybody because I'm so worked up. I mean, I might not even gotten it correctly what my friend and mentor Steve said. I mean, Steve did mention that he was suffering, whatever. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. This has just rattled me because the situation is just so overwhelming. It's scary. I mean, seeing something like this and seeing his fingers, that scars you. That scars you for life. So Ricky, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to everybody, but I mean, I'm glad that we're addressing this because this is just not cool.
Well, in other news that goes along with the Tua thing, apparently the physician that examined him on Sunday has now been fired, let go, sent on his merry way, sent out to pasture. He has been fired by the NFL for not saying to anybody, you know what? Yeah, we passed him on concussion protocol, but we rightfully should have sat him out for the rest of the game.
That's what I told and this is what we spoke about before the show. In my case, just because you pass the protocols does not mean that you are out of the woods. Not even close. Not even close. But can I ask you this, Ricky? I'd like to ask everybody in the chat, but can I ask this? Should this doctor be disbarred from practicing medical from now on?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Does he need to pay a penalty?
Because he was only following what he was told to do.
Okay. So I'm glad you're confirming. So in that case, then no, but
he is going to have a little bit of discredit because he could have judged his decision better. But he was following what the NFL told him to do.
So in other words, the NFL basically so okay, so now that I'm confirmed, yeah, so he should not be disbarred. So basically he was put under pressure, but apparently, because of the NFL,
listen,
he felt that maybe if he stood up, maybe the NFL probably would have punished him. So basically,
I don't want to sound like an asshole when I say this, okay? But doctors are never going to be perfect, first off. They're never going to be perfect.
Nobody is.
That's why they always call it a practice.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much you learned in medical school, every day there's some new thing that comes up that they don't have knowledge about. He made a decision, okay? Did he make the right decision? No.
No.
But we can't fault him for that because he went under the guidelines that were given to him. That's where, again, this is where there's a whole gray area in the whole situation of how these protocols are going. And secondly, I said this on the radio show yesterday, and I'll say it again today, that it's funny now how they show all of these commercials, the AWS commercials, on how supposedly equipment safety has gotten better and that the number of concussions in the NFL have lowered 36% since these new helmets have been made. Well, if these new helmets were made, then Tua shouldn't have the concussion, correct? Minkah Fitzpatrick should not have a concussion, correct? Are you telling me these are just freak accidents? Or is it because you're putting out a product that's still not helping the player's safety? That's where my questioning goes.
Testify, brother, right there.
Because, again, there are way too many elements that supposedly preventing players from getting hurt or hurt further than what they are. And now we have a situation where, okay, Tua says he's feeling better. I could have a concussion yesterday and could say I'm feeling better. But what happens tomorrow? What happens on Tuesday? What happens on Thursday? What happens a week and a half from yesterday? This is the point that I bring apart. Concussions are not something you fuck with.
No.
Because your brain, as like cushioned as it is in there, okay, it still takes time for that to heal. Rightfully so now, and I'll put it on record as saying, yes, he's gotten 2 concussions in 4 days. 2 concussions in 4 days. If he's back on the field within 6 weeks, guaranteeingly enough, before the end of his career happens, he's got CTE. And then guess what? Dead.
Yeah. And I mean, not only that, but I mean, imagine how it's going to affect him. I mean, look what happened to Junior Seau, for God's sake. Let's not forget about that. And check this out. This is actually a tweet that you want to hear this. Somebody, I mean, this dude's name, it's just 2 lightning bolts and 2 bottles of beer, but he said, and I quote, Brian Flores tried to sound the alarm about how the Dolphins do business, and nobody realized just how right he may have been. Disgusting, unquote.
But listen, also at the same rate, let us also mention before we get to that new sponsor, because I got to get that done before we start doing games.
Yeah.
The only one that can speak for a team is the head coach. No trainers are allowed to say anything. No doctors are allowed to say anything. GMs are not allowed to say anything. Assistant GMs are not allowed to say anything. The only person that gets to say anything, and I mean anything, at any type of press conference whatsoever, is the head coach. And Mike McDaniels had to stand in the line of fire yesterday. In that line of fire, because nobody else is allowed to talk. Nobody else is allowed to say anything else about any injuries, transactions, whatever. Okay? He is the only one that is allowed to say a word. And whatever they tell him is he is the mouthpiece for it all. He is the one that has to stand under fire every time something happens to the team, to the players, any type of press conferences, whatever. He is the only one. And I will give him tons of credit for standing in that line of fire yesterday, because he had to go up there and tell everybody what exactly the situation was from Sunday, what the exact situation was from Thursday. And let me tell you, for a man that's a first-year head coach, he was a deer in the headlights, and I give him a ton of credit for handling what he did.
Yeah, he was basically thrown right into the wolves, and yeah. But I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, again, I apologize for, but this whole situation is just it messed up my head, because again, I mean, it scared. It just, like I said, him like that and the fingers. It just, I'll be honest, it scared me. It scared me. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It scared me.
I do hope Tua feels better. But I do also hope and pray, sound mind and body, that he does not go back and rush to get on the field. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all have lives to live. Yes, this is his job, but guess what? He's getting paid regardless of whether he steps on the field or he does not step on the field.
And if he has to miss the entire season, there's absolutely no shame in doing so. Take your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a new sponsor for the show. And for all of everybody that knows, we do give picks on the show. Yours truly deep dives into getting all of the picks and stuff together. So, without further ado, we introduce BetStamp to our lineup of sponsors for ArchRivals Football, Pipe Bomb Radio NYC, Bearing Down the Gridiron, and more. Now, what is BetStamp, you may ask? I have assimilated it to the kayak of sports betting. Here's why. So on your screen, here are the first 4 games for tomorrow's schedule that we'll be covering on the show. Now, you see a whole bunch of numbers, right? Kind of throws you off a little bit. But here's the deal. Not only do they give overall win-loss percentages of how the games are supposed to be going, for example, Minnesota and New Orleans, we'll be getting to that, and just hang out, okay? Because I'll interest you something if you guys are in the betting app world. So, obviously, they show the green and red percentages. Those are the percentages of the teams winning and losing. And then you see a whole bunch of other numbers after that. So, in New York, we're allowed to have 5 betting apps. This app takes all of the stats from every betting app, no matter what state you're in, if betting is legal, okay? And they put all of the best numbers here. This finds you the best way to do player props. This shows you the best way to do money lines, spreads, under-overs, and it's not just for the NFL. You could do it for the NFL. You could do it for UFC. You could do it for MLB. You could do it for NHL. Oh, wait. NHL is just starting up. Ain't that right? Oh, well, you also got the NBA just starting up. So if you want to be able to figure out what your best bet is, especially if you use multiple apps, this is the app for you. Okay? It is available in the Apple Store. It is available on Google Play. You can even go on and sign up on the web and have this big, lovely screen so that way when you go to make your picks on each one of these apps, for example, I have DraftKings, FanDuel, BetRivers, and, oh shit. There's a whole bunch of them, okay? We have 5 in New York. So this gives you the best odds to go onto that app, place the proper bet. If you're not on any of these apps, there are sign-up bonuses where you can go in. A lot of them are doing $5 bets for you get $100 back regardless of whether you win or lose. Extra boost bonuses, etc. But BetStamp is the app for you. The promo code is ArchRivals. If you need more to be told about it afterwards, message ArchRivals Football's page. You can message us on the YouTube page, my personal Facebook page. I'll gladly answer any questions you may have. But this is a really great opportunity for all of the people that are available to do betting. And believe me, I'll tell you this right now. I placed a bet last night using this app. I won $100. If I can do it, you can do it. That's all I can say about it. It's an amazing app. And if you do use multiple apps and want to win money with a better, safer idea, this is the way to go. Again, it is the BetStamp app. The promo code is ArchRivals. And just let me know when you sign up, and we'll take care of the rest. All right, we're going to go to the recap, and then we're going to start the games. Okay, so amidst all of the Tua situation, there was a football game being played. It was the Bengals 27, Dolphins 15. Alex, hit them where they hurt.
Well, fortunately, our picks didn't go well, but Miami now 3-1, losing to the Bengals.
Yes, but again, on Tuesday's show, we did go in with the assumption saying if Tua gets hurt, it swings the Bengals' way.
Yeah, we did. And, Bengals, outscoring Miami 13-3 in the second half. And, the passing game, it's interesting. Even, Teddy Bridgewater couldn't get, over 200 passing yards. But although Tyreek Hill, really kind of, like 10 catches, 160 yards. But as far as the Bengals go, Burrow kind of looking his usual self through 2 touchdowns. So T. Higgins was actually the big difference maker on the receiving core. But Bengals are now on a 2-game winning streak. And Miami has lost for the first time this season.
And it's funny is NFL.com does not want to show any stats for the game.
Yeah, in other words, they don't want to acknowledge, do they?
No, they don't acknowledge anything because they're
I guess that's how the influence on how somebody on this show also did not want to acknowledge me from last week.
Oh, he'll acknowledge you on Tuesday. Trust me on that. All right, so we're going to go to a small brief break with that word from Fanatics. And when we come back, we're going to start doing the Sunday 1 o'clock schedule. And let me tell you, right off the bat, There are a lot of hits and misses for this week's game, so we'll be right back. Paint Train Pipe Bomb Productions and the Playmakers blog are now both partnered with Fanatics. Fanatics is now your new home for all fan merchandise from the MLB, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, MLS, NASCAR, WWE, international soccer leagues, and golf. Check out the links below for everyday deals on Fanatics.com. All right, we are back. It's the Bearman and the Master of Mayhem here on Facebook and YouTube and whatever other platforms we land on after this. We do open up, and I did not make a graphic for this because I'll be honest with you, I ain't going to be awake to watch this in the morning. I am not going to be awake. This is not happening. I'm just saying this right off the bat. Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints overseas. And let me tell you, there are going to be some really, really tired people on Sunday. Because this game is 9:30 in the morning. Alex, give him a little bit of info about this.
Well, I gotta be honest. I'm certainly I ain't gonna be getting up for this game.
Oh, yeah,
now, if it was the Cowboys, it's probably a different story. But Cowboys don't get to play in London. That hasn't happened since 2014. But number one is no Jameis Winston. I believe Thomas is actually out, the receiver.
Yep, with another foot injury.
Mm-hmm. And the starting quarterback for New Orleans will be Andy Dalton.
What a shock.
Well, Taysom Hill is not hurt right now, is he?
I'm pretty sure the verdict is out about Taysom Hill right now. I'm pretty sure that the verdict is out that he is not a real deal starting NFL quarterback.
And yet they paid him, didn't they?
He is the Swiss Army knife of the Saints. Okay? That's basically how you have to look at it, okay? I'll go just by saying that at some points I think that they gotta really freaking just say how it is. And he's a wide receiver, he's a running back, he's a tight end, he's not a starting quarterback. And he is now listed in every NFL fantasy league as a quarterback. So you take your money and you put it where your ass is, because you can't play him at a running back position, you can't play him at a wide receiver position. You got to legit waste a quarterback spot with him. So take it as you want.
Take it as we want. Well, yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up the injured list right now. Alvin Kamara is questionable. Jarvis Landry is questionable as well. Oh, man. Right now, the way I see it, there's no excuse for the Vikings. Okay, I'm sure Mr. Braverman. You want to mention the word verdict? I'm sure Mr. Braverman's would definitely deliver quite the verdict before this game, and I'm sure if something goes bad, he'll deliver an even better verdict after the game. But I'm going to say this: there's no excuse for Minnesota, no excuse whatsoever.
To me personally, this is the way I kind of look at it. Minnesota had a little bit of an issue last week trying to contain the Detroit Lions.
Yep, they did. Yeah, well, you check out you look at the injured reserve list of the Saints. I mean, it's a laundry list.
Well,
yep, Michael Thomas. Yep, Michael Thomas. Just like like you said, foot injury, he's out.
So again, we have to. You kind of have to take it, a little bit as with that grain of salt. I'm going to go with the fact being is that Mr. Kirk Cousins is not playing in prime time. I don't think that 9:30 in the morning here or 2:30 in the afternoon there is prime time. I would lay my money with the Vikings. And according to BetStamp, they are at 61%, favored by 3, and an under-over of 41.5. We don't use the half point. I'll go to 42 on that. If I'm going to place the bet, I am placing it on the Minnesota Vikings, even though you probably won't make as much money as you would, but that would be my pick.
That would be the pick. And Dalvin Cook actually, well, speaking of the Vikings, I think Dalvin Cook has been cleared to play in this game.
I'll put it this way. I don't think Alvin Kamara makes the start.
Okay. I mean, as far as Cook goes, I mean, right now, I guess the question is, can he make it to the game without getting hurt again?
This is very true.
Can you make it through the season? More like.
All right, back to the States. 1:00 in the afternoon on the 2nd. We have the Cleveland Browns traveling to hot Atlanta, and thank God that the hurricane will not impact any of this. That they'll actually be able to get the game through. Fans will be able to go to the stadium and hang out and have fun. According to our lovely friends at BetStamp, they have the Cleveland Browns favored at 53%. They are a 1-point favorite on the road. And there is no Myles Garrett. He was now officially ruled out for tomorrow's game.
Okay, I mean, that obviously I'm not surprised. I think the surprising part is that they have to wait this long, but we spoke about how if Tua has to be out for the season, there's no shame. And Myles Garrett's the same thing. If you can't play next week, fine. If you can't play the week after, then fine. I mean, the last thing, it's not only the last thing with the Browns, and it's the last thing that you need is aggravation of the injury. So,
well,
I mean, he had a car accident, for God's sake. I mean, there's even that story. Like you saw how bad the car was after the accident.
Yes, I did. But the point of that whole thing now is he avoided hitting wildlife. That's all great, fine and good. But if you're avoiding wildlife, does that not mean at some point maybe you were driving a little reckless? I would kind of think so. I would kind of think so, that if you were driving and had to avoid wildlife, you probably weren't driving safe. Yes, he was wearing a seatbelt, but now he's got a shoulder injury. He's got a biceps injury from what I hear. And at least at this point, we know that he's not playing. Thank God. We don't have to worry about Myles Garrett injuring himself more than what he already is. And we could be safe on that. Now, I am kind of trying to look here because I went to the ESPN version of the injury list. At least they're a little bit more, out there. They've already got way too many people on their injured reserve. Clowney is questionable. I'm going to say he's going to play because they don't have Myles Garrett and they need a pass rush.
They do.
And I did see the comment from Anthony who said that he's taking the under on the Falcons game. So you're telling me you are taking under 47.5 points. Is that correct, Mr. Anthony?
I mean, in Anthony's case, he's merely making a judgment call, and whether you agree or not, I mean, it's a judgment call. It takes the courage to do it.
I'll put it to you this way: yours truly took the Falcons last week against the Seahawks, and they put up points. I believe they put up over 40 points themselves between the two teams. So 47.5 is not a stretch by any imagination whatsoever. Really, it's going to be the key of, can Atlanta stop the run game? And Atlanta's had a very good pass game as of late. Not like top 10. But they also got their Swiss Army knife back as well.
Yeah. Speaking of the Falcons, you were the only one out of all three of us. You picked them last week, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And you didn't even get acknowledged.
That's my job.
Well, you did from me though. So
that's my job, to just sit here and piss people off.
Yeah, mine too.
They do
Very good at
have, again, Cleveland is at 53%, which is close to 50. It's not even a downfall. If I am betting with my heart, I really should go for the Brownie the Elf Browns, which I really do hate that mascot. Give me back the goddamn bulldog with the frickin' big spiked chain and shit. But
yeah, like the wrestler.
yeah, like the junkyard dog. Give me the
junkyard dog.
give me the JYD over that frickin' Brownie the Elf.
What's from Cleveland too? How ironic is that?
What do you got for this, Alex? I'm gonna have to flip a coin on this.
I mean, I went against Atlanta last week. I mean, if all of that situation, you go against them last week. I don't get it right. Do I really want to go against them again? But this particular situation kind of seems different because Cleveland has that running game. Chubb, can't ignore that. And how is Atlanta's rushing defense, by the way?
I actually did not have that numbers up. Sorry.
Well, either way, I mean, that talent is, you feel like you're compelled to not go against Cleveland.
Well,
so I have to go Cleveland.
It's not even that. I think it's the whole. To me, like it's the fact of. Let me see these. I got to see these stats thing. Leaders. See, I'm not. I wasn't prepared for this part. I normally leave that up to you. Sorry.
Oh. But your pick is, you got Cleveland, don't you?
See, that's what my heart wants to pick. The brain is thinking Atlanta.
Yeah.
The brain is thinking Atlanta because I look at also here the money line on this. And
Atlanta, I mean, hey,
Atlanta's at plus
Darnell's going with Atlanta. Darnell is actually picking Atlanta.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go with the Dirty Birds as well. This next game comes up with a game full of controversy. I love controversy.
You know what? I don't even care. I'm going to go with the Browns.
Oh, you're going to go with the Turd Burglars. Okay. Next up, Buffalo. Just coming off that loss in Miami last week, gets another great challenge in the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Crab cakes for all. Bills and Ravens, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
First things first, the Ravens secondary, it sucks.
So does the Buffalo Bills. They have 4 injuries in their secondary right now. They're playing with all of their backups.
So Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I wonder what they must be thinking then.
Lunch. Lots of it. Because at this point right now, this brings up the question, if you have it going with Anthony is taking the Bills straight up.
Darnell's actually, I'm looking at that one. Yeah, Darnell's going with Buffalo too. Darnell sent me his picks, and since he's not here, I might as well give him, right?
You know what? I hate to say this, okay? Yes, Buffalo built their defense where they were very big in depth. My issue now is you're going to tackle Lamar Jackson in the secondary. If somehow, some way, miraculously, I may be Nostradamus on this. Well, let's say one of those backups gets hurt. What do they have next? Yes, the Ravens secondary is not anything I would want to bring home to mom and say, hey, Mom, I brought this great defense over for dinner. Can they sit down at the table and eat? And my mother would probably tell me no.
Mine would definitely say no.
But
and the fact that I brought him here, I would probably say you go eat outside.
I have to give the advantage to the hotter hand right now. Buffalo's offense stumbled all over the place last week. Let us not lie about this.
We saw the reaction you thought Josh Allen's reaction was one thing. I mean, for God's sake, the offensive coordinator
is a meme. He's a meme now. Okay? Let's not get that twisted.
You mentioned a meme. I mean, the whole thing with the Jeffrey Dahmer series, that became a meme, and look at that. So we're getting some new memes now.
Yes, because we love memes. Memes run the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm
Imagine making a Dahmer meme says, "I told you we're watching the Bills and Ravens game," and then you can.
the numbers from BetStamp. Again, I'm telling you guys, this app is amazing. If you bet, get in touch with me. I will get you hooked up. BetStamp overall on WinBet has Buffalo as a 3-point favorite on the road. The money line is Baltimore at plus 140, and the under-over is a general consensus of 51 points. Are they going to score 51 points? Hell yeah. They're going to score 51 points. This is not a game where you're going to see 17-14. Okay?
No.
This is going to be like a 37-31 fucking scramble. I'm telling you right now, they're going to score some points because both secondaries are horrible. The front sevens, on the other hand, that is a little bit of a different story, and I would kind of give the edge to Baltimore on that. Calais Campbell has been tearing shit up. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to go with the hot hand, and I think Lamar Jackson just edges out Josh Allen.
Well, considering Lamar Jackson is very likely to scramble around, and you mentioned how that Buffalo secondary that's banged up too, they're gonna have to tackle him. I mean, and it is in Baltimore.
I'm going to go with the home point dog.
Yeah. That means that either you or Darnell are the lone wolves this week on this one.
Yeah, pretty much. Which way are you leaning?
I'm leaning Baltimore. I'm going to need Lamar Jackson fantasy football for purposes. I'm going to need him to have a hell of a game. So I got to place my faith in the Ravens.
All right, are we ready for the next one?
Oh, mine.
See, social media really sucks when they Washington Commanders put out a tweet or an Instagram post or something on TikTok or decide that they want to be brash. The Washington Commanders traveling down to the Big D to play the Cowboys. 1 o'clock start. That would be a 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, Central Standard start. The Commanders
it would be
are
lunchtime.
debuting their new black uniforms, which are supposed to be what they call their Black Knight uniforms.
Or a camouflage commando kind of thing.
No. Their uniforms are all black with the red and yellow lettering, and the nameplate has a military style bar across the bottom of it. My phone is deciding that it wanted to speak as I was.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like it's a bit of a camouflage gimmick they got going, but
I'm gonna just say this. I know Alex has a big summary that he likes to go through, but I'm gonna try to clear the way for him. I'm gonna go with Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what? Me too. But I will say this. 9 times he was sacked last week was Carson Wentz. And ironically, the Dallas Cowboys actually lead the league in quarterback sacks. So how about that?
Anthony, do you play that? Do you do the player prop for the 5.5 sacks? And give me that lowdown. Do you do the player prop for that? You know what? I'm not gonna say this is like something horrible, but Dallas itself is not as terrible as everybody was making them out to be.
I mean, I got to take responsibility for that. And I will. I'm not going to lie. I mean, guys, look, let me remind everybody. And Ricky, you can vindicate me on this. I did say if Dak Prescott somehow wins the Super Bowl, not only will I take responsibility, I'll apologize, I'll even invite him on the show. I will admit that I know when I didn't get things right. And so far, the Cowboys have been proving me wrong. And all I can say is I hope they keep doing it. But like I said, I will say this. Look, Washington's passing game is actually up there. You don't want to underestimate it. Dallas's passing defense is respectable. But when it comes to Dallas versus Washington, there's always something that's bound to happen. We've seen one team as the underdog pull off the upset, whether it's Washington or Dallas. I mean, in games like this, anything could happen. That's why I said the key to victory out of anything is the Cowboys need to sack Carson Wentz. And I've always said this many times: there's no such thing as getting enough quarterback sacks. If you have, you just keep doing it.
I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's the sacks. I think it's got to be just straight up QB pressures. Because when there is
that right, see that's what I gave Micah Parsons credit for last week. I said, look, he didn't get the sack, but you know what? He still did his job to the best of his ability because he put pressure. We saw how the Cowboys put pressure on Daniel Jones. So I like how you mentioned it's about the pressure, because if he has the pressure, he throws the ball away. And I wrote this in my preview for Third Down Thursdays. If the pressure's on, the Washington passing game will be shut down and could be rendered ultimately useless. So pressure is basically almost as important as getting quarterback sacks. It's almost even sometimes like if you keep doing it, turnovers don't really need to be necessary. Although you should always try to go for a turnover if you can, but putting pressure on the quarterback is ideal.
Well, Mr. Stephen Waldman, who's on my phone, has actually gotten his name on there somehow miraculously. He says Prescott is still not wondering yet. Don't apologize yet. Laughing out loud. And Anthony Richards said it's going to be a blowout, but I don't know what the total points are. The under over for the game is 41 as the best bet.
Yeah. Well, I think Mr. Waldman, he loves my show. He knows that he loves the way I I go on a tear of criticism. I mean, Steven, I appreciate your support, but yeah, Stephen Waldman basically loves my Cowboys talk show. But Steven, I appreciate the support and I appreciate the loyalty, but
I want to put an under over on this one. This is my personal player prop. Okay, this is not one you can find on any app whatsoever. How many times does Mr. Carson Wentz come off the field shaking his head or has had his bell rung? Remember, he is the only player in NFL history to not fuck up one ankle, but two at the same time on the same play.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, the Washington offensive line is still bad, and Chase Young won't be playing, and there's another guy, I forget his name, the other defensive tackle. I think it's the same guy that Young got into a fight with, I think, last year, if you remember that game.
Yes.
I think he's out as well. But the problem is, the Washington running game, the Dallas rushing defense is a bit of a weakness. Now, and I said in the preview, the Cowboys need a super well-balanced offense, which means the running game, if the running game's effective, it needs to be, but we got to hope that it's not abandoned. So we need the play calling. I think the play calling needs to be done correctly, but we need the offense to be productive.
This is my last one, and then we'll go on to this next game, because this next game is actually going to be very interesting.
But I do have the Cowboys, and Playmaker has the Cowboys too. So we're all on the same boat on this.
We're all on the Big Blue Star.
Yeah.
All right. Next up,
let me clear the air. Well, before let me clear the air with Mr. Wallman. Like I said, if he wins the damn Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm not apologizing. I said if he does.
If. All right. Well, here is the big if game for the week.
Love you, Steven.
This is the big if game for the week. It is the Seattle Seahawks, who everybody predominantly picked last week against those Atlanta Falcons. Thank you very much.
Except for you, right?
Being hosted by the Detroit Lions. Game is in Motown. And I
prefer Rock City. I prefer calling it Rock City.
We could call it that if we want.
I mean, Kiss did so.
Now, right off the bat, the Detroit Lions are already short two players. DeAndre Swift is not playing. He's already been deemed out.
St. Brown, although I think it's been confirmed out as well.
But I will say this: if we play Darnell's lovely game of who's better than who, I'm going to say that Jared Goff is going to be better than Mr. Broken Jaw Smith. Yes, and I'm talking about Geno Smith. The only guy to
I mean, look,
miraculously get his jaw broken by one of his teammates.
we can say whatever we want about the Lions, but the Lions have actually done a whole lot better this year than we previously anticipated. I mean, I know I did. I don't know about you. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I mean, look, Detroit is Detroit, and speaking of the city, when people always say that they haven't won titles in over 50 years, it's actually not true because the Pistons won the NBA title in 2004, and I believe the Red Wings won the Stanley in 2008. Mr. Braverman can certainly confirm that with me, but look. The Lions, obviously, I mean, 1991, as you know, it seems like it was a long time ago, but there's been times where Detroit has actually showed up before. Now, unfortunately, the playoff drought is still there, and that's what they're hoping to kill. But you know, Detroit could possibly show up. I mean, they almost did against the Eagles. But that's because the Eagles let them. Let's be honest. They beat the Commanders, but everybody say that's because the Commanders are just flat out terrible. But against the Vikings, I mean, it kind of seemed like at one point the Lions had it, but they kind of let the Vikings just beat them like that. I mean, 14 points in the fourth quarter for the Vikings after the Vikings scored 10 points and get allowed like that.
Detroit is not perfect.
They're not perfect.
They're not perfect. But a lot of people, not including me, if you did not see any of our preview shows, I said that the Lions were going to be better this year than they have been in years past.
Okay.
Goff is on.
I had the feeling you did, but I needed you to remind me because I didn't want to risk putting words in your mouth.
Goff is like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've put them in that same mold. He has a down year, he has a good year. He has a down year, he has a good year. Last year, he had his down year. Goff is now on the upswing. Yes, he's not going to have their leading rusher, DeAndre Swift. Okay. They don't have St. Brown. Okay. DJ Shark is out with a ankle injury. Okay, so it's another weapon. But Seattle is not great offensively whatsoever. I don't want to hear what anybody's got to say. Oh, now that Geno Smith is in a different system, he's with Pete Carroll, that he's doing great. He got lucky week 1. He's
been in Seattle for years.
He got lucky week 1 because the Denver Broncos shot themselves in the foot. And the ass, and their dick, and in their head. Okay? I'm going to go only with the Detroit Lions because they are the home team. And I'm going to put my money on Jared Goff because I think even though he's down 3 weapons, he's still viable enough, and he is a better quarterback than Mr. Geno Smith.
Yeah, no doubts. I mean, I have the same way. I just really, you just don't want to go against Detroit.
Detroit is technically, because we don't do half points. Let me just clarify this once again. The stat line is -3.5. There's no way in hell anybody is scoring a half a point. It does not happen. Okay? I don't believe in a goddamn half point. So I round it up to the next one. The Lions are technically a 4-point favorite at home.
Yeah. Well, according to ESPN, the Pick Center has Detroit by -3. But I think you just mentioned it's the consensus pick at -3.5.
Yes.
But yeah,
and that is on Bet Rivers, DraftKings, and MGM. Caesars has them as 3. The money line is Seattle at +165. Don't waste your money on the 165. Believe me on this. Do not waste your money on it. If you do and you tell me, oh, I bet the freaking Seahawks, then you might as well just give me your $165 because I'm not gonna play
an interesting trash game according to Mr. Anthony Richard.
But you know what? Detroit played a fairly good game last week. They had the Vikings on the ropes, and I was really kind of hoping that they played the full 60. They only played 45. This week, they should be able to play the full 60.
Let's hope so.
Here is another interesting game where
Darnell is also going to Detroit too, so again, we're on the same boat.
Yep. Because he doesn't want to lose this week to me. Boy.
Yeah, well.
Kind of thinking about the same thing. This is a game where I have a real big issue with because the AFC West, again, that was one of our biggest preview shows that got viewed. I think it was like 2,700 views or whatever. 2008 was the last time the Red Wings won the Cup. Yes.
Okay.
General consensus has the LA Chargers, who were favored last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, at 69% over the Houston Texans.
Did Steven confirm this, by the way?
What?
Mr. Wallman?
Yes, he confirmed the
Okay.
Red Wings comment.
All right. Thank you, Steven.
All right.
Appreciate it.
It is Chargers favored by 6 going into this game. And the Houston Texans at 1-1-1, I believe.
No. 0-2-1.
0-2-1. Have still been in almost every game this season.
Yeah.
Where the Chargers offense has not shown up. This seems to be a problem for the Los Angeles Chargers. Or as I like to call them, the San Diego Chargers. Because they will always be a San Diego team. Go for it, Alex.
The injuries speak for themselves. You can't blow it off. I mean, Joey Bosa, injured reserve. Keenan Allen out again. But it does not end there. Okay? I mean, the situation is just far more complicated. And the one thing, out of the many things you just can't ignore, is that you brought up the fact that the Houston Texans have been in the game. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what we dread. Okay, we don't want to be in these situations, but unfortunately we do. But unfortunately, the injured reserve list for the Chargers is a laundry list as well. But I think you want to mention one thing is Justin Herbert gonna be Justin Herbert, whether it's the good or the bad? I mean, we don't even know which Justin Herbert's gonna show up. Justin Herbert's the name's gonna be there, but which Justin Herbert are we gonna see? The good or the bad?
Steven says, is this the fix game? I'm looking at the numbers off of BetStamp, and I'm telling you again, if you really want the prime numbers to find for any of your games, get in touch with me. I'll get you set up on BetStamp. And if you're watching this later, it's ArchRivals Football for the key code. BetRivers has on the money line the Texans at plus 215. But they also have, again, the Chargers at a 69% winning clip.
I don't have the Chargers with a negative 5.5, but we go with 6. But
I'm going to be honest with you.
The Chargers have allowed more points in a game.
I don't think the Chargers are going to cover. I don't think that they're going to cover. Unless some epiphany happens and somebody's ribs are better, which I can guaranteedly tell you they're probably not.
Well, you know what? That's one of the that's one thing I forgot to mention.
I'm
sorry, guys, but I think I gotta go. I think I might have to go Houston, man.
I go with the Chargers, but the Chargers don't cover.
I mean, you and Darnell on the same boat, but I might.
This rightfully should be a Chargers get right game. This in anybody's fashion. Oh, it's the Houston Texans. They haven't won a game yet this year, but they tied with the Indianapolis Colts to start off the year. So they did stand up to a viable team. It's not like they got cheese puffed.
I mean, they lost to a team, Chicago, a team that doesn't even have a passing game.
But then you still have Justin Fields. So I mean, it's one of those games where you kind of get lost a little bit.
Yeah. So it is the get right game. So if that's the case, if I'm going to piss off the Chargers, then I got to go Houston.
Oh, I'm going to go with the Bolts.
I'm pretty sure I'm an idiot to a lot of people now.
No, not exactly. You got to call it as you see it.
It's called a judgment call.
All right, next up we have the Tennessee Titans going to the Horseshoe. Titans, Colts, 1 o'clock game on Sunday. I believe we have 3 more games because they overloaded the Sunday schedule coming up. I don't know why they have so many games coming up, but that's just the way it goes.
Well, is it still regarding the effects of Hurricane Ian?
No, not at all. This
No?
game was
Okay.
actually scheduled to be in Indy. BetStamp has the Indianapolis Colts at a 63 win percentage. Line from everyone is 3.5. We round that to 4. But the Colts are favored at home. Colts coming off of a very, very large win against the Kansas City Chiefs last week, which everybody predominantly picked the Kansas City Chiefs, including myself, like a douchebag. What do you got, Alex?
Sometimes I get the feeling like this is probably like a game that you just want to fall asleep, but you do want to see how it turns out. I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you. Now, the Titans got that win against Las Vegas, and I still have to live with the fact that I picked the Raiders to win that division. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to hear the end of it. But
only a week 4. Relax.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Well,
according to this, the predictor, ESPN's Football Power Index has Indianapolis with a 61%. Well, they say 60.5, but again, we don't go with the we don't go that way. We go with the rounding. So at 61%. Look, Jonathan Taylor so far this season, we have not gotten the results, and I'm suffering as far as fantasy football wise. It's kind of unbearable. I'm just like, I don't even know what to say, quite frankly. This is like the game where I'm just like, I just wanted to get this done over at the beginning, just get it over with. But
so where are you leaning?
Indianapolis.
I'm going to go in a different fashion.
Because it's at home.
I am going to go with the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
And this is just as of recently, they put their starting tight end on injured reserve. Ogletree just went on injured reserve. Julian Blackman's safety out. That is an ankle injury. DeForest Buckner, questionable. Shaquille Leonard, questionable. If these guys don't start, you may actually see King Henry run around a little bit. I have to say it. I think it was pot luck that the Colts did what they did yesterday. Sunday against the Chiefs. They barely squeaked that out with a last-minute drive. I don't feel like Matt Ryan is the solution. Yeah, he's a great, pretty decently accurate quarterback, but you've seen through the first 3 weeks, the cohesiveness is still not there with that receiving core. And let's not
forget, Matt Ryan is far past his prime.
Exactly, and no matter what quarterback goes to Indy, apparently besides the Mongoloid, Andrew, no quarterback has really succeeded there at all.
No.
So I'm going to go with the Titans, and the Titans are getting the 4 points.
Okay.
Back to MetLife. Oh my God! Well, I don't even know why we're talking about this.
Are we next to Giants, or are we at just end of season? Oh yeah, next to Giants.
Let's just say that the Giants right now should be 3-0, and on a lot of NFL predictions, they said they should have gone 4-0, and then that's where the slide and the decline comes. Okay, but this is the Chicago Bears, who miraculously beat the 49ers in shit weather. Obviously beat the Houston Texans last week. Chicago may not be that much of a pushover than anything else. And yes, they did put all of the NFC East games on at 1 o'clock. Thank God for that. Because the NFC East is trash. And we got 2 teams in the NFC East playing each other. Wow. The Giants took a big loss Monday night. Not only to lose the game, but they lost Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard, I should say. I hate to say it, but this is probably a trap game. As much as I want to say the Giants are better.
Didn't they diagnose him with a torn ACL?
Yes. This is his third consecutive year with a knee injury.
It's unfortunate. And well, you know what the sad part is? This time, you know what the sad part of the situation is?
What?
Is you know how the injury was sustained, Ricky?
The turf monster got him.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm serious. I mean, when this happens to a player, when it's like that, I mean, you just can't help but, express a major amount of sympathy because, I mean, unfortunately it happens, but still, I mean. I guess when you're in a certain speed or pace, your body might not be. I don't know. Something happens, but I like you say, it happens.
I'm just gonna play a little bit of a game. Can we play one small game with this? And this will be my answer for how this game should go.
I mean, I'm not Triple H, but I do like to play games.
I'll even leave this to the crowd. I don't even know how many people are watching because I don't know. Whose defense is better, Chicago's or the Giants?
This is definitely where I wish Darnell was here, but who is better? Well, the Giants did make some stops against the Cowboys.
Some. But they also had a lot of not only offensive penalties last week, they had defensive penalties as well.
They did. Didn't the Bears actually, wasn't it a come from behind win?
I want to say yes, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, because, of course, Coach Bruce, shout out to Third Down Thursdays. He's one of the co-founders of Third Down Thursdays. He did express a bit of frustration involving Mr. Kyle Fields. And then, of course, the Bears were losing at that point. So that's why I kind of would have figured it was a come from behind win. And Coach is probably going to be disappointed that I didn't even bother paying attention to that game. Sorry, Coach, nothing personal. But right now, something tells me that I'd probably trust the Bears defense maybe a little bit more. I mean, Thibodeau, the rookie, did come back. He made his debut against the Cowboys, but I don't remember him quite making an impact.
Steven says the Giants defense is better. Are you saying that because you're a Giants fan, or are you saying that as an analytic? Was the question.
Well, here, let me act. Well, obviously I know the way to settle it. I mean, I'm gonna look at the previews like that because they're gonna put up that information. I mean, still at the same time, I respect the fact that Mr. Wallman is loyal. I mean, this will definitely make Steven feel better. I mean, the Giants have a 69% chance of winning according to this, but that's ESPN. I mean, do you really trust them? Well, okay, so points per game. Well, believe it or not, the Bears have actually allowed less points per game. So, well, yeah, points per game like that. So now points allowed per game, they're both at, Chicago's at 19, while New York it's 19.7, so that makes it 20. But total yards per game, the Giants have allowed 356 total yards per game, while Chicago is at 286.
Hey, Sharon, what's up?
Do I need to go
on? You can if you like.
I mean, passing Chicago's allowed slightly a little more. The defense is like Chicago rushing defense is allows 157 rushing yards per game, while New York is at 138.3, which makes it 138. So overall, I think from what we see as far as points go, the total yards, the Bears defense is slightly better. And I do say slightly, so it's really not much to go on. Some would say it's absolutely nothing to go on, but check this out. Yards passing, Bears are at 99.
They don't throw the ball. They run the ball more than anything else. And that's the fact being is I don't believe Chicago's really got weapons to do that. Yeah.
So the 286, that's actually total yards of offense. So I got that wrong. But yards allowed, it's 371.3, but there's like that. So it's actually the Giants defense that's actually slightly better, not Chicago. So I definitely misread it.
I'm going to.
But again, it's slightly.
I look at the ESPN odds, right? And this is why BetStamp is so great to use. What is you looked at the odds where on NFL?
Hold on, he said that Steven said that I was breaking up.
I think
Am I still good?
No, you're fine. I heard you the entire time.
You're fine. Okay. Well, hey, Steven, I did actually misread. So it's actually the Giants defense that's slightly better, not Chicago. So I apologize for misreading. I'm just having too much fun. I'm having the ADHD's kicking in. The focus is a little
So what winning percentage did you have for this game?
For this game in Chicago, well, according to ESPN, the Football Power Index, they have it at 68.7, but that means that's 69. So again, we don't.
Well, see, this is where I beg to differ because the Giants are only at 58% on this. They actually have the Bears with 42%. This is why. Huh. This is why BetStamp is the app to go.
There you go. So you're glad that I brought you. You're glad that I. Well, didn't I say that I don't trust ESPN, Ricky?
I don't trust a lot of
different
things.
But I'm still kind of.
I go with the things where I know my numbers are better.
Yeah. So you know what? I just confirmed it once again. Yeah, don't trust ESPN.
I'm gonna go with the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
And the Chicago Bears are getting 3 points.
Can I ask you, what do you think the final score will be, Ricky?
21-17.
Do you think the Giants attempt a comeback and then they get stopped? They get foiled?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
I'm sure Mr. Waldman's not going to take kindly to that.
Shit happens.
Here's the problem. Chicago's passing game is not good. And if they're that bad, quite frankly, they are untrustworthy.
All right. So we have 2 more games. We're going to try to get through these real quick.
Well, hold on. I'll make this quick. Now, Daniel Jones did have some positive scrambling yards last week. I mean, 9 carries for 79 yards. I mean, you can make fun of Daniel Jones all you want, but you can't ignore him. That's how I mentioned earlier that Dallas's rushing defense has a bit of a weakness. But
I'm still saying the Shepard loss is what's going to kill them.
Yeah.
Because Kenny Golladay has not performed this year.
Because that's why I have to go with Chicago. Because without Sterling Shepard, I mean, what's there to go on?
You can key more on the rushing game than you can on the passing game.
I mean, Saquon Barkley, I don't doubt that he could have a good game, but I don't doubt that he's going to have a good game, but
all right,
Saquon Barkley should not be in a position to have to carry the offense.
We're going to kind of move this a little bit quicker because we're going to end up going past the time that I want. All right, this is a game that Mr. Anthony was asking about earlier. It's the Jaguars.
Bears, huh?
Yes, I'm going with the Bears. Where did Darnell go?
Darnell's going with the Giants.
Oh, good. I'm not going to bet on the Giants. Okay, Jacksonville in Philly. This is going to be a very, very interesting matchup.
Well, the Jaguars did, in fact, 38-10 in Los Angeles. I certainly did not expect that. But then again, Los Angeles is in a bit of a predicament.
Here's my outlook on Philly. Okay? Here's my outlook on Philly. Okay? And I kind of got to say, you look back to week 1. I think Philly gets ahead, and then they start to cruise. Like, they take their foot off the gas, and they just don't annihilate people. They get too comfortable, and they let people back in the games.
Cruise control.
Yes.
Okay.
I do say, though, that Mr. Lawrence has now a better experienced coach with a little bit of a better starting lineup. He does not look like he's running around with his hair on fire. And Lawrence's numbers through the first 3 weeks this year are pretty much better than the first 3 weeks of last year. And, oh, by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars have a decent running game right now.
They do.
And looking at, I'm going to look at the injuries here. They're basically going with.
Well, somebody on the chat just made a judgment call. That would be Sharon. Look at that.
She knows her football. I've taught her well.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I said. I mean, you make these judgment calls. It requires a lot of courage. So you got to give Sharon credit. I mean, it's a judgment call whether you agree with it or not. That's the way to do it. It takes guts.
Well, Jacksonville is only going in with like a 50-50 bag of people being hurt, which I can kind of understand. They have 2 people questionable and 2 people out. Let me see if I can find Philly on here, unless you found Philly earlier than what I can. I love scrolling through this stuff.
Well, the interesting part is Doug Peterson is returning to Philadelphia, except this time he's on the opposition.
You know what? I'm not going to roll with the fact of they are going to Philly. I'm looking at the fact being that Boston Scott is out. Maddox is out. Darnell is on injured reserve. Dillard, injured reserved. Tyree Jackson, out. And Brett Toth, offensive tackle, is out. So you got a balance between offense and defense of players that are out for the game tomorrow. And I think the Boston Scott injury is a very large injury because they lose now their balance in the backfield. I'm not going to...
Just like you predicted, the running game is just going to be bad again.
You know what? I'm going to have to... See, they have Philly as a 7-point fave at home. And the win at 71%. They are really underestimating what Jacksonville can do.
I can't argue that. I mean, you are spot on that, but
Anthony,
I just feel like Philadelphia is probably gonna. I mean, I think the passing game is, if the running game is just in that much of in deep shit, then they're gonna have to stick to the passing game.
I agree with Wade. 7 points is a lot. And Jacksonville has already dotted the Colts and the Chargers this year. The Colts and the Chargers were picked to win divisions. They were both picked to win divisions this year.
They were.
If Jacksonville can go in and put a dot on the Eagles, then the Jacksonville Jaguars are for real. I did not give Jacksonville this much credit in our preview. I'm allowed to let them prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But if they put up double-digit leads against the Colts and the Chargers, God, Philly could be in for a nightmare this weekend.
You're not wrong.
And you know what? I think I'm going to put my money on the Jags.
Wow.
Let's see what Jacksonville is truly made of this weekend.
I feel that way, but because I feel like, Jalen Hurts is off to that start. I mean, that can't be ignored, and Devontae Smith is playing that way. It is in Philly, but this one's tough. But Darnell's got Philly too, but I feel like I agree with what you said about Jacksonville. Tell you what, to motivate Jacksonville, I'm going to go Philadelphia.
Oh, the reverse psychology?
It works. It doesn't work all the time.
Anthony, they could be playing in Rome where the Pope lives, and it ain't gonna make a difference.
The Vatican, right?
Philly does have receivers, but the problem that I have with Philly is they get ahead and then they cruise and they let teams back in.
I mean, we saw that in Week 1 against Detroit.
I'm not gonna lie when I tell you this. This is the MO for the Eagles every year. They get ahead, they cruise, and when it comes down to crunch time, they have that ability to choke.
Well, you know what's a cause for concern, Ricky, about this game? If the running, and I said this, if the running game is untrustworthy, it's in a bit of a predicament, and if you have to stick to the passing game, well, if a team passes 99% of the time, the game's going to take forever. Because passing can cause the clock to consistently stop. But if they're relegated to have to pass more, I mean, that could actually come back and bite them right in the ass. We've seen teams before be in that position. They can only throw, and it turns out to hit them right in the face.
Again, there are a lot of very interesting points in our chat. This is why I like to do the live shows, because we have people talking.
Yeah. I think overall from this game, let's be honest, anything can happen.
Listen, anything can happen on a Sunday.
On any given Sunday.
Listen, I think it hurts their ego now from what Wade said is that the being undefeated, because they are now the last official undefeated team in the NFL. Again, this could be a swagger move. Like anything can happen, but we've seen that this season you can't count out Jacksonville anymore. At least for the first 3 weeks of the year, with them putting a dot on the Chargers and putting a dot on the Colts.
So for the time being, you can't.
All right, the last game of the 1 o'clocks. I cannot believe I'm going to talk about this. It's just end the season. The New York Jets going to formerly known as Heinz Field to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last game, 1 o'clock on Sunday. It is Pittsburgh at a 62% winning percentage. And it is an under-over of 3.5. I'll go to 4. Jet fans really think that they have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, I've noticed, yeah. I mean, I get it. They want to have faith in the team, despite the fact that the team has gone through so much since their last AFC Championship appearance back in 2010, which ironically was against Pittsburgh.
Yes. And they get their number 1 drafted quarterback back against a somewhat banged-up Pittsburgh team. But the Jets are banged up as well. I believe that this is going to be kind of the true test for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Jets secondary, which is garbage, by the way. My question is Mitchell Trubisky going to actually throw the ball this week? Did not throw the ball very much against Cleveland. He did not throw the ball around very much against the New England Patriots. Is he going to throw the ball this week effectively? That's my question.
That's the question. And honestly, I don't even have a straight answer, really.
I would hope that this game ends in like a 20-20 tie.
I'd be hoping more like a 13-13 tie.
If the Jets actually had a defense, they probably could take it. See, this is why I hate making picks. This is why I hate making picks.
Darnell already made his pick. He's going Pittsburgh.
Wait, he's going Schittsburg over the just end the seasons.
Yep, he's going Pittsburgh. Wait, are you going the Jets?
Wade, the spread for the game is Jets getting 3.5. I round it to 4. So Pittsburgh's technically favored by 3. Under over is 41.5. I don't see two teams scoring 42. Well, possibly, because I mean the Jets did come back against Cleveland. Ooh, goddamn Brownie the Elf. You know what? Fuck it. I'm taking the Jets.
Wow.
Taking the Jets.
I gotta go Steelers. The Steelers losing at home to the Jets. That doesn't cope too well.
Listen, again, I think it's going to all revolve. Well, again, remember, there's no Watt.
I mean, you're the lone wolf right here.
There's no Watt. I have not seen anything about. But then again, they don't have him listed on the injury list, which is surprising if he had that concussion from last week. Yeah, I'm gonna go the Jets. All right. Which commercial did I play before? Fanatics, right? All right. Another commercial. When we come back, we got the 4 o'clock. We got Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. This is ArchRivals Football Season 4. Pain Train Pipe Bomb Productions is now partnered with NFLShop.com. NFLshop.com, which is brought to you by Fanatics, brings you amazing team items like game day jerseys, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, team banners, and more. Check out the link below for great, amazing everyday deals on NFLshop.com. And we're back. The light schedule, or the light part of the schedule for frickin' Sunday's debacle. Because they decided to put on 10 1 o'clock games. Imagine my head spinning and watching all these games. And then they have 3 4 o'clock games, I believe.
You're gonna go crazy.
I'm gonna go bananas. They have 3 4 o'clock games.
Then again, you already are, aren't you?
I have to get more screens. Otherwise I'm using my phones, and that's just not fun. They have a 4 o'clock game, 2 4:25 games, and then an 8:20 game. This is going to be just miraculous. And the game that gets its own attention for 20 minutes is the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Carolina. Cardinals, Panthers, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My God.
You know what's interesting about this game?
That there's probably going to be shitty weather because the game is being played in Carolina.
That's not what I had in mind. I mean, this is definitely a game that we would want to speak to our friend Nisi, the diehard OU fan, because this is Kyler Murray versus Baker Mayfield. Heisman versus Heisman Trophy winner, both from the University of Oklahoma.
This game is so close. So close. It's only a 1-point spread.
This close?
It's like the fucking the card where they put the card in for the first down marker. That's how close this game is.
Very close then.
Carolina favored by 1. That's how close this game is. And I hate to say it, the Cardinals' wide receiving core is just diminishing by the week. By the week. Kyler Murray does not have anybody to throw the ball to.
Marcus Brown's questionable, and that's going to kill me because he's on my fantasy team.
They are falling like flies. No A.J. Green. Marquise Brown, questionable. Cody Ford is injured reserve.
DeAndre still suspended.
Rondell Moore, questionable. J.J. Watt, questionable. What weapons does he have to throw to?
Well, remember, is DeAndre Hopkins still suspended?
Yep. Till week 7.
How long is he suspended again?
I think till week 7.
Okay.
I'm going to go. Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, we also have another key injury to talk about. Christian McCaffrey has a quad injury. Questionable for tomorrow's start.
What else is new? He's hurt. What else is new?
Every year, same old shit.
Same old shit.
This is why it's a 1-point game. He's marked as questionable for now. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play. Or if he does, he blows himself out again.
No, it says here, NFL.com actually said yesterday, Panthers McCaffrey questionable to play. They said that he's to play. If you want the link, I'll send it to you.
No, I got the ESPN one here, which is probably more.
And this is from NFL. And this is from NFL.com, mind you.
I'm taking Carolina. I'm taking Carolina. I can't even like the numbers on BetStamp right now. Everything is negative.
And Playmaker's going Arizona.
All right. Now they forced me to do this.
Well, I guess I got to make my pick, right?
Yes.
Who the hell is Kyler Murray going to throw to? I guess that makes the homework 10 times more difficult and stressful this week, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And that means that would mean in our case no video games all week, and that includes the weekend.
I love it when you're percolating on trying to figure out which pick you're going to go.
I mean, the fact if Kyler Murray has nobody to throw to, I like that. I mean, how do you go? How can you go against Carolina? But can Carolina truly get the job done?
How do you pick Carolina if you have no Christian McCaffrey? It's a dual-edged sword here. This is the worst week to pick football. It is the worst week.
Yeah, and you say that another week could be even 10 times worse.
Well, wait till we talk about the next game.
To hell of it, you're a lone wolf again. I got to go Arizona.
Okay.
And before we recap, we should try to get Misi's pick because again, Sooner Heisman Trophy winner versus Sooner Heisman Trophy winner.
425. This is the biggest spread for the week. I want to hear what Wade has to say about this. It is the
Wade.
New England Patriots. Mac Jonesless. Jacoby Myersless.
I want to hear your thoughts.
Traveling to the frozen tundra, which won't be frozen this weekend. New England Patriots versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers are favored by 9.5 points. We round that to 10.
Yeah, we don't do the half spreads, right?
Nope.
We go full. We don't go half.
BetStamp.
Well, I don't know if you know, but 3 hours ago, ESPN made a confirmation. Should I give it to you?
Yes.
And this involves your Patriots. Should I give it to you?
Go ahead.
Jacoby Myers has been ruled out.
Yes, I said that.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. I'm on it.
Didn't notice it. That's why nobody should ever doubt you, right?
Okay, so
nobody should question your methods, my friend.
As much as I love Sharon as a little sister, let me teach you about my New England Patriots. Brian Hoyer is the starter this weekend. Okay? He's not started a game since he was with the Indianapolis Colts. That was 3 years ago.
Before the world went to shit.
Remind you, we had Cam Fig Newton as our starting quarterback 2 years ago. Last year, we had Mac Jones as our starting quarterback. And apparently the injury with that high ankle sprain to Mac is a lot more serious than anybody thought it was for. Because he was seen on Friday at practice, hidden behind the kicking net. Why? Because he can't move. Jacoby Myers is the Patriots' leading receiver for the not 1 year, not 2 years, but 3 years running. He's their leading receiver. He's not playing. Unless somehow miraculously in a crystal ball, we see Hunter Henry pick his game up. We see Jonnu Smith pick his game up. Kendrick Bourne coming out of the doghouse in Green Bay, which I don't see that happening very much either. Nelson Aguilar could hold on to a ball. That would be amazing. Anthony, we actually talked about that at the beginning. We're way ahead of you. Way ahead of you. We already talked about him being fired. Not to say that Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball like really awesome. Patriots defense should send him to fucking Taco Bell on Sunday. 9.5 points is a lot of points. If you're going to bet, take the 9.5. I can tell you that right now. Take the 9.5. Because this is going to be a 21-17 game. The Packers are going to put up points. They're not going to put up very many points. My concern with it is it's not the secondary. It's the Patriots front seven versus the Packers run game. That's where the key to this game is going to be. Yes, the Patriots running backs are averaging, I think, combined, like 5.7 yards per carry, which is a ridiculous number. It's a ridiculous number for a team to be rushing that much.
So they're gonna have to stick to the running game then,
and try to make it to where there's a lot of play action for Hoyer to get the ball out. Hoyer can throw the ball deeper, throw a better deep ball than Mac, but he's not known for that. He's known for game management. And that's where it's going to be a big deal. I have Green Bay winning, but I do not have Green Bay covering. 9.5 points is a lot. And Green Bay, only once this year, that was the Chicago game that we picked, where they really outscored their opponents. Otherwise, Green Bay has done nothing. They are 2-1 for a reason, and we leave it at that.
So the game against Tampa is not worth mentioning then?
Both starters in that game reminded me of grumpy old men. Walter Matthau versus Jack Lemmon. Okay? Grumpy old men. Neither one of them looked great. The defenses pretty much were the highlights of that game, and Brady still looks like a skeleton walking around with skin. Okay? All right, how I'm rolling.
So who are you picking to win again? You got Green Bay?
Green Bay.
Okay.
Who you have?
I got Green Bay too. And everything you mentioned, I'm not going to repeat because it's clearly obvious, but
let me guess. Darnell picked the Patriots, right?
Nope, he did not actually pick the
Green
Patriots.
Bay.
So we're all so for the first time in a while, we're all on the same boat.
All right. Second, 425 game.
Well, let me at least say this: the Patriots running game is going to be a difference maker.
That's what keeps them in the game.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I got to go with that.
Okay, so second 425 game. It really sucks that they kind of did this shit. I don't know why, but that's what they did.
That's what they did.
Another divisional game on the West Coast, technically. It is the Vegas Raiders hosting the Denver Broncos. A head coach's job is on the line. My God. This is embarrassing.
I mean, that win against the Broncos against San Francisco,
that game made me want to throw up. Vegas Raiders are at 57%.
I'm pretty sure it did make me throw up.
Yeah, because I had to sit there and watch it.
Yeah, me too.
Vegas is a 3-point favorite at home. The money line is plus 125 on the Denver Broncos. This also possibly because of the massive amounts of rumors that are swirling around the interweb that if the Raiders do not win this game, Josh McDaniels, 4 games into his Oakland Raiders career, out the door. This is one that you definitely want to take a nap through.
No kidding.
Raiders have not lived up to any expectations. And again, the Denver Broncos, they haven't either.
And the Broncos are 2-1, but Las Vegas is 0-3.
My problem is that the Denver Broncos can't score points. What is Russell cooking? Not very much.
Something obviously we can't say. We can't say we're going to smell what Russell's cooking.
He is
tasteless and then
I still find it to be, and I am calling out Broncos fans right now. I'm calling them out. How many orange pumpkin jerseys you guys are wearing? Okay. I thought Mr. Russell was supposed to be cooking up some good stuff. Oh, we got all these great receivers. We got a great offensive line. Our run game is really good. And you haven't broken a 20 spot yet. That's embarrassing. You haven't broken 20 points in 3 weeks. What is that saying? Not a lot.
Overrated.
Mr. Wilson is not cooking anything. Then again, the Oakland Raiders defense is like in the deli section, like Swiss cheese. And they fight back late and they've gone, oh, so short. I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders as a get-right week against the Denver Broncos. And hopefully they can start to trend upwards. That's as far as I'm saying about this game.
Agreed.
All right, we ready for
And
Sunday Night Football?
Yes, I am.
8:20 p.m. on NBC, wherever you may watch your football. NBC is normally Channel 4 here in New York. It is the Kansas City Chiefs, who got upset by the Indianapolis Colts last week, going to Tampa Bay.
A Super Bowl rematch.
And Tampa lost last week to the Green Bay Packers, both teams at 2-1. In where I would consummately think that this actually would have been a really, really great matchup about 5 years ago, I probably would have said, yeah, that would be so much better, but it's not. And that seems to be a problem for me. I don't want to... Chiefs over Tampa Bay is from Mr. Stephen Waldman. They actually have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers favored 51-49 in a game that is even across the board. Oh, by the way, Mike Evans comes back this week. Does that make a difference? I don't know.
Tom Brady looks like a what again?
A skeleton with skin hanging over it.
Screw it. I'm going Kansas City.
I was actually kind of thinking the same thing. My only issue with this game, and I know I really should be spending a lot more time over this, it seems to be over the last 2 weeks, Patrick Mahomes has been arguing with Eric Bieniemy. He has been arguing with Andy Reid. He needs to take the pacifier out of his mouth. He needs to take the diapers off that his fiance put on him and play football.
Oh, those babies making that funny sound with the pacifiers, they're funny.
Brady needs to start taking his Geritol and putting some more weight back on. Because I don't want to hear the excuse he doesn't have any weapons. Okay? I don't want to hear this excuse. For 20 years, we've seen Tom Brady operate with not high-level talent. And he won 6 Super Bowls. He went to 10. Okay? He went to that many Super Bowls. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear he cannot play without weapons. So, again, Father Time is catching up to Thomas Edward Brady. Finally. But I really can't. I really have to say that I have to bet against the GOAT this week. I really have to say that. And Tampa's defense, from what I understand, they're pretty banged up. See if I just scroll down to the bottom.
So
here.
back to back, Darnell's a lone wolf. Because he's got Tampa.
I am. Because he wants Mike Evans back. Akeem Hicks out. Perryman doubtful. There's a weapon. Russell Gage questionable. Julio question. Chris Godwin question. I hate to say it, but I think the youth has to prevail over here. You know what, Steven? I don't think so. I don't think so. As much as I want to tip the hat to Mr. Thomas Edward Brady, he needs a swan song. and let some other guy get a better shot at a job. I'm still gonna go KC. I think that KC, even though they don't have the offensive weapons that Tampa does, Brady's got to get them the ball. I think the offensive line is still a little shot. I'm looking at the defense. They're pretty banged up. They are pretty decently banged up, Tampa Bay. So I'm gonna go KC. Finally, we get to talk about Darnell's team, and he's not here.
Well, we all know who he's going with.
Well,
Obviously.
he's going with the Rams, but
obviously
this game here is not one that we kind of should fuck with, and here's why. And this is again another reason why we love BetStamp.
Well, let me ask. Can I ask you this first?
Yes.
That streak of the 49ers being the Rams in the regular season, is it still worth mentioning?
I believe that's 7 straight games now.
Yeah. I mean, the NFC Championship from last season obviously tells a different story, but that's why I asked. Like, so because this is regular season, is it worth talking about?
It is worth talking about because now it's not Trey Lance, it's Jimmy G.
It's Jimmy G.
I do see the discrepancies in Jimmy G's now offense than it was last year. Like, the playbook is not the same. Maybe that's because there's no Mike McDaniels there. They do have it as a 1.5 point line. I'm saying 2. 49ers favorite at home. I'm not going to say that the Rams are really demolishing anybody.
Well,
and I should really go with my
that game against Arizona. I mean, it speaks for itself because I mentioned this. I mean, against the. Do you want to know an interesting fact about Matthew Stafford from the game against Arizona?
Sure.
No touchdowns, didn't throw any. He was 18 for 25 for 249 yards, but no touchdowns.
Yes, but they ran
considering
the ball
the fact
more.
that both quarterbacks went the game with no touchdowns.
Yes, but they also ran the ball more than they did pass the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is what they really should be doing.
Well, hey. Kyler Murray threw the ball 58 times and completed 30 and had 37 completions.
Okay, but
again, you were talking about the Rams.
But the Rams were ahead. Yeah. That's the problem.
And then against Atlanta, we talked about this. Against Atlanta, the Rams nearly squandered a 28-3 lead.
Let me just confirm something that I'm pretty sure I saw earlier.
I didn't say it.
The 49ers this week are going to be without Trent Williams. They're going to be without Al-Shazier. They're going to be without Trey Lance. Elijah Mitchell.
Well, we all knew that.
They are. I don't see is Jimmy Ward is injured reserve. I'm kind of looking for another Bosa. I don't see him on the list.
Quick question, Ricky. What did the injury turn out to be for Mr. Trent Williams?
Trent Williams is out with a high ankle sprain suffered in the Broncos loss.
Okay.
And the Al-Shazier injury, he's not on injured reserve, but he's out 6 to 8 with a sprained MCL.
Well, that's a long time, so
their secondary is mush right about now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Rams break the streak.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Rams break the streak. All streaks are meant to be broken at some point.
I mean, the Undertaker's streak was the same way.
Yes. And I think this streak ends this week. That's what I really feel.
George Kittle, I mean, you can't trust the guy. I mean, well, speaking of George Kittle, in my other fantasy league with Third Down Thursdays, I was actually offered Trent Kittle along with Curtis Samuel in exchange for Leonard Fournette. I actually spoke to you about this.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, my good buddy, who made the request. He's in a dire need of a running back, but I said, sorry, buddy, I can't do it.
All right, and that is it for today's show. Once again, thanks to all of our sponsors, NFLShop.com, Fanatics.com, Points.com, our newest sponsor, BetStamp. Again, if you guys are interested, you guys do a lot of prop bets, player bets, regular straight ups, line bets, under-over bets. Get in touch with me. I'm telling you, this app is well worth it. It keeps track of all of your betting apps, gives you the best options on which lines to play. I know here in New York we have 5, and it also will take and track all of your bets from whatever apps that you make. So it's like pretty much a one-stop shop. It's the kayak of sports betting. We do have the promo code. Promo code is ArchRivals. Alex, any final words?
No, sir.
All right. We'll be back on the air with Pipe Bomb Radio NYC, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mixlr. And then Arch Rivals will be back 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. That is the Bear Man. I am your master of mayhem. That's how you do a football show. And we're out of here. You've just experienced Arch Rivals Football Season 4. Click that like button and subscribe so you'll be notified when a new Arch episode is live on the air. Check out our sponsor links down below for everyday deals on Fanatics, NFLShop.com, and Points.com. Need merch? Check out www.paintrainpipebomb.threadless.com for quality merch at amazing prices. Tune in again next time for Arch Rivals Football Season 4.